So 14 months ago I built this super over-engineered log store, and for 14 months it's done really well until the last strong winds a couple of days ago. I think it's seen 7 named storms, and we had in the end of 2024 we had Dara, I think it was. We may have had another one, and then in January we had Owen, which was the biggest island I'd ever seen. Right through until, like I say, a couple of days ago, the winds were really strong over in the UK. What was it called? It was called Claudia or Claudia, one of the two. And really, it just finished the roof off on this. It was only ply. It was never the intention that it'd stay ply for as long as it did. What we wanted to do was use the old corrugated steel that was the roof of the barn that collapsed. We wanted to use that, and on further investigation it's so rusty, holey and everything else. As it is now, it was probably drier. Now that the plywood's off the ceilings in the bedroom, we're going to put that on here, and then we're going to cover it over with a plastic. I think the ply really suffered with a combination of wind, rain, sun, and it's just not designed for outdoors. It's not marine ply, so for it to last 14 months is actually really good. I'm going to make a little bit of a change to the front of it so the ply doesn't hang down over time, and then we'll just staple the plastic to it that way, and then hopefully we'll be good to go until eventually we get some corrugated steel for it. It's not majorly important. It's something we don't need to spend money on unnecessarily when, I'll say, scraps, timber or the plywood from the ceilings in the bedrooms, which we can use on here. We're not having to pay for it again. It's free, so we'll get it done. You're not going to have a wee in there, are you? You're just sitting. Okay. That's it, you just sit there, that's fine. Right, so with that in place, that will give the front of the ply something to sit on. It's fairly strong. I can have a little bit of a swing on it. That's my go-to. How strong is it? Can I swing on it? So now it's just a case of getting the ply from upstairs in the bedroom, bring it down, get it on and cover it in black plastic. The black plastic, I can't remember why we had it, but in the end we used it to wrap the furniture we kept that was inside the house, which we had to bring outside so we could do joists and everything else. That's now in this shed where it's dry and out the rain, so now we've got the black plastic spare. what is it they say about, is it insanity? Where they say about doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. But we're trying to make an improvement on this one this time, rather than just leaving bare plywood on show. Like I say, we're going to put a black plastic over it as a waterproof layer, and hopefully it will last longer than 14 months. It's possible though in the future this whole log store will go over to where the big pile of stones is. At the end of the day, this hasn't cost us a penny to do, so we got nothing to lose really.
That looks fancy.
Doesn't it? Yeah. I'm not sure it is, but
Looks
like,
nice though.
yeah, it does. It's all right. And once the plastic's on it,
Yeah.
it should be better.
So where will the plastic
I don't know.
come to?
I don't know whether to bring it round and under.
Yeah. How wide is it?
What, the plastic?
Yeah.
It comes up to about here, I think. So I'm hoping there's going to be enough. We'll see. So although there's no rain forecast for tonight, I'm just going to put the plastic over the top, maybe a couple of staples in it just to keep it down. It's 4:30 now, starting to get dark, so I won't get it finished today. And I don't think the tarp is actually, I say tarp, plastic, I don't think it's long enough to cover the whole roof, so that may be an issue in itself, but I'm going to stick it on for now anyway. Sure, there was an easier way to have done that. Oh, Steve, you having a nose? Yeah. So it's just stapled in a few places, just to keep it down overnight, not due any wind, not due any rain, and that's how much short it is. So I'm guessing this bit of plastic's 4 meters by however many, because I think the overall length was something like 4.4, 4.5. So it's a little bit like the membrane in the bedroom all over again. But tomorrow I'll come back out and take that off, cut it to size, and then get it fixed properly. Might even do a little bit of wood stain on that timber on the front, but we'll see. So it's the next day and it's Monday, and amazingly the membrane which we ordered
Late
yeah,
evening.
in the evening
Or late afternoon.
has arrived in 2 business days. So that's an incredible service. Can we just thank those people who bought us some coffees and gave us super thanks towards the membrane. Really helps. Thank you so much. Really not expected. So really kind of you. Thanks. So when we left you last Sunday, this was bare. You could see the tiles underneath. That had the membrane in. Oh no, it might not have even had the membrane in when we left you. That's what we had left on the roll. Not enough. A little bit short. And this. We've put the insulation behind that, put what membrane we had left up. And then, although we were going to leave this and do it all at the same time when the membrane arrived, we decided, sod it, let's get it up, because then that's pretty much most of the job done. So if you bear with us, we're gonna hopefully fire that bit of membrane up there. Should be a cut, a staple job done, and we will be right back.
Yeah.
150, 550, 650. That's 7 metres. That's what we were short. So there we go. 5 minutes later, I lie, not quite 5 minutes, but it's done. We were short at the end of the last video. We thought 8 metres, and I think it worked out to be 7.5 metres, with obviously what you have to cut off for the corners. So that is this room, insulated and breathable membraned, and all we need to do now is get some tape on the joints. And job's a good one until at some point in the future the wooden ceiling panels go up, but that is the future. Now somebody did, well, a couple of people did say they'd like to see me get in the loft and how I'm going to insulate it. We didn't film it, and we'd already decided. I looked over there because Dawn's over there.
I'm sat on the landing.
Dawn's over there.
In the windows.
Yeah.
Lovely windows.
Sat looking on the window seat, yeah. We'd already decided we wouldn't bother filming it because it's difficult to film, it's difficult to see. Especially now we've extended the rafters. I squeezed up there and before it was quite easy to squeeze up. This time we'd actually put 3-inch more of timber, so it was more of a squeeze. But anyway, I squeezed up there. Dawn fired up the insulation, and I laid it in between all of the collar ties. But just for a quick recap, this is what I did in the other bedroom. This bedroom actually, the first time we did the temporary insulation. So that's what this little bit is. Now also we've had a few concerned people going on about seeing daylight, the insulation getting wet and rained on and ruined and everything else. Maybe we didn't explain it very well. You can see daylight, but it's not letting in any water. The reason you can see daylight is where a tile's moved, fallen off from the storm. We lost 2 in the storm. We can't physically get up onto the outside of the roof. It's a 2-story house. It's a long way to fall. We have scaffold, still not comfortable on the roof. We'd rather Sean, the guy who will do some tiles for us when we ask him, we'd rather he does it. What the light you can see is where we've put in from the inside and slid it down to where the missing tile should be, is white corrugated plastic. It was the only thing we had to hand, but rest assured that acts as a tile. We've got, and I'll show you outside. Right, so I've just brought you outside and Alan comes to greet me. Hello young man, how are you? Where have you been? Up to no good? Oh, that's lovely. Right, so now we're outside and this is going to be quite difficult to show. There's Dawn in the window waving. Yeah, I think it will be difficult to show, bear with me. Right, I've stuck you on a 2x zoom and I may be able to zoom in a little bit more. There and there you can see 2 lighter patches. Now that's actually white corrugated plastic, and although you can only see 2 bits, that goes from the top one right past behind and beyond the bottom one. So that's currently replacing the tiles that are missing. And also I think, yeah, there's one on the end there, just there. That's also a large piece of corrugated plastic, and they've been slid a lot higher up than they appear. I don't know the science behind how these tiled roofs work, because you look at them and you think, well, the water would blow up underneath them and it'd run in, and it doesn't. So I can't very well explain why we've only got 3 bits of plastic on show when there's big lengths of plastic in there. But when Sean's available, probably in the new year, we're going to ask him to come back. In the past it looks like the roof's had lots of mastic on it. You see all of these white lines, that's where previous repairs have been done. Now we don't actually need the roof replacing. The structure, the timber is all sound. What we actually need is quite a few tiles removing, and new tiles going on, replacement tiles, the same tiles. It's just a case of reseating them. Even in the strongest storm island scene, we lost 2 tiles. There's new builds in the area losing 11, 12, 15 tiles from the storm. So it just goes to show that our roof actually isn't as bad as it appears. Structurally, it's really good. Cosmetically, it's not brilliant, but it's certainly not letting in any water. We did explain what the light parts were earlier in the video. I can't remember where it was, maybe only 2 or so minutes in, I can't remember, but we did explain that you may see light but it's not letting in any water, and at the time it was raining, and I think we showed the floor too. But that's the plan going forward with the roof. We get Sean, the guy who does do our tiles now and again for us, to come back and do some more. So the one thing I could have done without happening is it raining. Up until this point I've managed to keep the top of the ply dry and the underside of the plastic, and of course now I'm doing something else, it decided it's going to rain, but I'll crack on because this is taking too long. It's now Friday. Last time I saw you it was Monday, but I'll tell you where we've been and what we've been doing in a minute. Right, so I must be absolutely bonkers because I just had a look at the temperature out here and it's a sweltering 1 degree centigrade. It's no wonder I can't feel my fingers. So you get the general idea where this is going. Got a much nicer looking front now and the plastic's tied in place. I'm going to do the same on the sides, both sides, and then on the top to hold it down should any wind get under it. I'm going to put some timber strips as well on the, I don't know what you'd call them, the timbers that are within the roof structure anyway. So I'm going to do that. I don't know if that's going to be today though. I'll get the ends done today. The top might have to wait because it is bitter. Which, with that said, is bitter, and it's not the middle of winter, but it's winter and the UV still set my glasses off. So yesterday I added our second LPG water heater to our system because the first one wasn't enough to warm the really cold water in the IBCs up, so we were just getting a lukewarm water. So by adding the second heater now, that's now, I've swapped them round. The second heater has become the preheat heater, and that heats the water up to about 19 degrees, which then goes through to the second heater and gets it up, well, it was up at 65 degrees at one point yesterday, so I had to turn the preheat down a little bit. Shower last night was absolutely lovely, full pressure water like normal, and red hot, so that's worked really well. It was about -2 last night, and the insulation and the trace wire, the heating wire, the orange stuff, that worked really well right through. Unfortunately, where I added this yesterday, this was exposed and this froze a little bit last night, but it was just a case of get the hoover, get the hairdryer on it for a few minutes, and it soon defrosted. As soon as that one was working, obviously that just got the water up to temperature and thawed any other pipes. But on a whole, at the moment, other than that little bit of exposed pipe, everything else was running. We had cold water, we just didn't have the hot water because of the exposed pipes. Oh, that looks much better. That's the first time I've seen the log store since putting that front on. Yeah, looks tidy. Our logs aren't going to last long, even with me chopping them up and into quarters, but that does look a lot tidier, and it's not quite finished, so I'm pleased about that. Right, let's have a quick look at the finished. It's not finished, it's just too cold to carry on. Yeah, front, pleased with that. And outside the gate, but I won't bore you with going outside of the gate. This end, that's all trimmed up, that's nice. And then there's the top at the moment. Now, my thought is with this, like I say, I'm going to put strips of timber down right the way across the roof at various stages, various intervals. Now my thought with that, as soon as I put nails through or screws through, it's going to put a hole in the plastic. So what I thought I'd do, once it's dry, bead a mastic down, sit the timber on, and then nail through that. So then the mastic should reseal the hole that the nail puts in, if that makes sense. So all the time that this is wet, I can't be doing that. But as a quick impromptu, the roof's gone, and probably a non-permanent feature, I don't think it's too bad as a quick whip it up. Right, it's like I say, it's Friday, the week has flown by, and for two people who are normally at home most of the week, apart from a Friday when we go to Tesco's to pick the shopping up, as you may already know, Sunday I was out here, Monday we were up in the bedroom finishing the membrane off, Tuesday we were lucky enough to go over to our Irish cottage and garden revival, and we met Clare and Paul, and they're lovely people. They're just how they are on video. Claire had a few computer issues, so I was more than happy when she asked to pop over and help her out the best I could. Hopefully she's happy with that, but we did get to have a look around the cottage and see all the work they've done. They seem to be on the same path as we are, where if they take something out of the cottage, they're either going to recreate it or put it back in. And some of the oak lintels that they've put in, they're new oak lintels, not the ones they took out. The work around it, Paul and Claire have done a lovely job on it, but it's a lovely cottage. If you haven't seen their channel, I'll put their link in the description below. It's worth watching them. I think they've got lots of experience with doing various bits and pieces, renovations and restorations and things, and they're a really nice watch. Now, I did forget that on Monday morning we had Dominic Kehoe, I think that's how you say the surname, it's how I say the surname, come. Now he's the stonemason, and I can't think, what is he? He does old stuff, heritage buildings. He does a lot of lime work, stonemasonry, restoration. And we wanted him to come back just to ease our mind with the fireplace in the kitchen. And the nice thing was, it turns out, in his opinion, that our lovely brick and arched fireplace in the kitchen is original. So our thoughts of restoring it are absolutely great, because he's all for it. He just eased our mind. He had a look, he took a couple of the bits of rubble out the back, and went, yeah, I do think it's original to the house. And he thinks it's a nice fireplace and also worth saving, which we do too. So we're really pleased with that. That's the future. What part of the future, I don't know. It won't be the distant future, because we did want the range in before Christmas. It's highly unlikely that's going to happen, but it will happen. But that's still there on the back burner, if you like. Pun intended. It's so cold, my nose is running, I am sorry. Dawn's inside, she's cleaning up. When we got here, there was an old metal travel trunk, and she's just giving that a clean up while I'm out here. But I think really I'm done out here because it is chilly. It is getting cold again now. I think it's about 3:15 in the afternoon, but already it's starting to get darker and it's started to drop off. So I think I'm going to call it a week. Thanks ever so much for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.